This video shows how to debug your custom modules in the relaxed version of AutoCAD OEM. That is the full-featured AutoCAD comparable host application that comes with the toolkit. There's a separate video showing how to debug both native and managed modules in your stamped application. However, that can be time-consuming in certain scenarios, and therefore we present this alternative approach where it's not necessary to stamp your application every time after making changes to the source code. There's a section under the Tips and Techniques chapter talking about using AutoCAD OEM as a debug and testing tool. It's not straightforward to figure out how it's done, and hopefully you'll manage to do it quicker after watching this video. First, there are some words about the help file. First, there are some words about using the relaxed version, how to explore features and commands since everything is enabled, and also how to test your Object-ARX programs, basically what this video will show. And there's also a comment about debugging stamped application. This is more valid for the other video I mentioned initially. Be sure to read these sections in complement with watching this video. So first, make sure you create a debug build of your ARX application, and we're using the PolySamp project that comes with the tutorial that we're using for the training class, and that is also familiar with the people at the ADN if you require support. Make sure you make the ASDK Poly UI or whatever ARX project you will debug as the startup project. Next up is to go to the Visual Studio tools and find the 64-bit native tools command prompt for Visual Studio. Run as admin. Navigate to the Program Files folder, Autodesk, AutoCAD OEM, Toolkit. And from this location we start with OEM Bake Wizard. Select the Poly project. This is where we have our ASDK Poly UI ARX. And go straight to the Build tab and make sure you check the use settings with AutoCAD OEM and then Build. The sound disappeared here for some reason, but what happens is that the Make Wizard alerts you about 3 DLLs that are backed up, and these need to be restored after doing the debug session. We'll see that later in this clip. Before we continue, let's have a quick look at the backed up files. So in the AutoCAD OEM folder, you can see these 3 files, and if we just look at this one, you see that this is the original file and this is a temporary file. The Make Wizard will take care of these files when you shut it down, but it's very likely that you will have to copy them back manually. So next step for us would be to go to the command window. Before we do that, let's have a quick look at the help file again. The benefit of debugging in the relaxed version is that it does not require that the application be bound. However, your application must still be patched to run in the relaxed version host application. So we're going to do the patching step now. The patcher is conveniently enough located in the toolkit folder, and we're going to patch the ARX that is the output from our Visual Studio build. So copy address as text, and SDK this one, right? And the patching for running in AOEM is aoem.exe, and the null sign, and AOEM. This would be poly for our poly. Poly. This is also, like I showed you before, described here, so you can read about it here, you can copy it from there. So now we're patching our Visual Studio output ARX to run in the relaxed version of AutoCAD OEM. And there was one match found. Next step for us is to go into Visual Studio, and in debugging we make sure that the relaxed version is the target executable for our debug session. We also need to make sure that we have a breakpoint set in our poly command. There is the breakpoint. Let's hit F5 and go. You can see we're using the resources. This is our splash screen from our stamp product because we're using the resources from the PolyCAD product. First, we need to upload the modules. I better upload the DBX. Let's run that one too. And then the ARX. Successfully loaded. And when we run the poly command, we will have 5 sides, and then we hit the breakpoint. And can we just, yeah, you get the idea. The benefit here is that whenever I want to make changes to my my source code, I just need to do that in Visual Studio, build the ARX module, patch it again, and run, without having to do all the steps needed in the Make Wizard. So, and shutting this gracefully down, and returning to the Make Wizard. Remember, we started this from the command window. Uncheck the Use Settings with AutoCAD OEM, save, and quit. And if we go to the you can see that one of the files were copied back, but these two needs to be fixed. So I'm not going to do that in this video, but you need to take care of those two files. Remove the DLL and rename the org files to back to DLL. That's it. Thank you for watching.